The colony on the edge of the unknown world was never quiet. Traders shouted in the marketplace, guards walked the walls, and machines hummed all day. But one thing always broke the normal life of the colony. It was the girl, the strange alien. Girl and her terrifying pet. Whenever she entered the colony streets, fear spread like fire. People shut their doors. Mothers pulled children away, and even soldiers kept their rifles ready. Her pet walked beside her, larger than a human tank. Its thick body was covered in dark scales. Its glowing red eyes burned in the daylight, and its claws scraped the stone. Floor with every step, many believed it could kill with one strike. The alien girl was young, maybe no older than 16. She had long silver hair, eyes that glowed faint blue, and skin pale like moonlight. She never smiled, never spoke much, and never showed anger, but her silence made people fear her even. More, no one dared to meet her gaze. People whispered stories. Some said her pet had eaten whole families. Others claimed it drank the blood of anyone who touched her. Fear was stronger than truth in the colony, and so, every time she appeared, silence followed her steps. But there was one man who did not turn away. His name was Daniel, a human soldier. He had seen war, he had faced monsters, and he did not believe in fear created by whispers. When he saw her walk through the colony gate, her beast beside her, he did not move back. He stood in the open street, watching. The beast growled, a low, deep sound that made the ground shake. Its red eyes locked on Daniel. Everyone gasped and ran into hiding. Soldiers pointed their rifles, but dared not fire. The alien girl stopped and looked at Daniel. Her glowing eyes were calm. But behind them was something else, something heavy and sad. Daniel did not raise his gun. He did not step back. He only looked at her, straight in the eyes. For a moment, the world around them disappeared. Only the human and the alien girl stood, with the beast between them. People whispered from behind closed doors, "He is mad. He will be killed. No one survives looking at the monster. Watch, he is finished." But the strange thing happened. The beast did not attack. It sniffed the air, growled once more, and then lowered its head slightly, as if in respect. The alien girl's lips moved. She spoke a single word in her strange language. The sound was soft, like music carried on the wind. Daniel did not understand, but he felt the meaning. It was not anger, not hate, but something closer to relief. The crowd was frozen. They expected death. But instead, they saw the beast step back, letting the girl pass. Daniel's heart beat fast. Not from fear, but from curiosity. He wanted to know who she was, why she walked alone with such a terrifying creature, and why her eyes looked like they carried the weight of the universe. As she walked past him, her hair brushing the air like silver threads, he noticed the way her hands touched the beast gently. She was not afraid of it. She treated it not as a weapon, not as a curse, but as a friend. Daniel wondered how such a young girl could be so feared yet look so lonely. The colonists came out slowly after she left. Angry whispers filled the streets. This cannot go on. One day, that monster will destroy us all. Someone must stop her. She is a danger, a curse. The elders shook their heads in silence, knowing fear controlled the people. Daniel, however, was different. He did not see a monster. He saw mystery. He saw a girl no one understood, and a beast that obeyed her in ways no one expected. In his heart, he felt that fear was hiding the truth that night. When the colony gates closed, Daniel sat in his quarters, replaying the scene in his mind. The growl, the glowing eyes, the single word she spoke, he felt drawn to her, not by fear, but by something else, an invisible thread that pulled him closer. He knew he had seen something no one else had. The next morning, rumors spread again. People said the beast's eyes burned brighter, that the girl had cursed the colony. Some believed Daniel would be dead by sunrise for standing in her way. But Daniel only smiled. He had faced many dangers, yet nothing felt as strange as the look in that alien girl's eyes, and deep inside, he knew this was only the beginning. The colony feared her pet, but Daniel felt a different story waiting to be told, a story hidden in her silence, a story no one else dared to see. The next day began like any other in the colony, but whispers of yesterday's event still echoed in every corner. People could not believe Daniel had stood before the beast and survived. Some called him lucky, others called him foolish, yet deep inside, Daniel felt something he could not explain. The memory of the alien girl's eyes stayed with him. The marketplace was crowded with merchants shouting prices, workers carrying heavy crates, and guards keeping order. But then, as if the air itself grew heavy, silence spread across the street. The reason was clear: the alien girl had returned. Her beast walked beside her. Claws scratching the stone path, the colonists scattered in fear, leaving the street empty. Daniel, who had been sent to patrol the area, froze for a moment. He had not expected to see her again so soon. She moved slowly, her silver hair shining under the pale sun. Her glowing eyes scanned the market, but her expression remained calm and unreadable. This time, instead of hiding, Daniel stepped forward. He wanted answers. He wanted to know who she was and why her beast obeyed her so perfectly. He had seen monsters before, but this was no monster. This was a creature tied to her in a way no one understood. The beast noticed him first. Its red eyes glowed brighter. A low growl rumbled deep in its throat. The sound made to guards drop their weapons and run for cover. The crowd gasped, expecting Daniel to die. But he stood his ground, calm and unshaken. The alien girl turned her gaze to him for a moment. It felt like the world stopped. Her eyes held sadness, but also curiosity. She tilted her head slightly, as if wondering why this human did not fear her. Daniel raised his hand slowly, showing he had no weapon drawn. "Hello," he said softly. His voice was calm, steady, and without threat. The crowd hiding nearby thought he was mad, speaking to a girl who could summon death with a single word. The beast growled louder, its body tense, but the girl lifted her hand gently, placing it on the creature's neck. Instantly, the beast stopped. Its head lowered, and the growl faded. Gasps of disbelief spread through the watching colonists. The monster was obeying her every command. She spoke then, in broken human words. Her voice was soft, fragile, like someone learning to speak for the first time. "You." "Not afraid," she said slowly. The words were heavy with an accent, but Daniel understood them. Daniel's eyes widened. She could speak his language, even if only a little. He nodded. "No, I'm not afraid," he answered. The girl's lips trembled for a moment, almost like a smile wanted to form but could not. Her eyes softened, but then she looked down quickly. As if ashamed, she turned to leave, her beast following close. Daniel felt a pull inside, stronger than before. He could not let this chance pass. He took a step forward. "Wait," he called. His voice echoed across the silent market. Everyone held their breath, thinking the beast would attack. The girl stopped, slowly turning her head back, her glowing blue eyes met his once again. Daniel took another step, not too close, but enough to show he meant no harm. "Who are you?" he asked. His voice was calm, but filled with curiosity. The girl's eyes flickered, as if she understood his question, but could not answer. She placed her hand on her chest. "Leora," she whispered. Her name sounded soft, almost like the wind. Passing through trees, Daniel repeated it. Leora, the name felt strange, yet beautiful. The girl's eyes brightened for a brief second when he said it, as if she was surprised someone cared to know. The beast shifted, its heavy body blocking her from him. Its glowing eyes warned him not to come closer. Daniel raised his hands again. To show peace, he did not move. He respected the creature's warning. The colonists hiding nearby began to murmur. She spoke. She spoke our language. She gave him her name. What is happening? This is not normal. Fear mixed with confusion. The elders watching from the upper windows whispered among themselves. They did not like what they saw, but for Daniel, this was the first true encounter. Not fear, not danger, but connection. A girl with a terrifying guardian. And a soldier brave enough to stand before them. Leora turned away once more. Her silver hair flowing as she walked toward the forest outside the colony walls. The beast followed like a shadow. Every step it took made the ground tremble. Daniel stood there, his heart racing. He had spoken to her. He had learned her name. And now his curiosity burned brighter than ever as the gates closed behind her. The colonists rushed out, surrounding Daniel. "Are you insane?" one shouted. "Do you want to bring death on us all?" Another cried, but Daniel only shook his head. "She is not what you think," he said firmly. "She is not our enemy." The people did not listen. Fear was louder than truth. They spread new rumors that evening. "The alien girl has chosen. Him, her beast, will destroy us all. He is cursed." The whispers filled the colony like smoke, but Daniel sat alone that night, staring at the stars. Whispering the name he had learned, Leora. He could not forget the way her eyes softened when he spoke. He knew something important had begun, something bigger than fear, something no one else could see. And in the shadows of the forest, Leora sat beside her beast, her hand resting. On its head, her eyes looked toward the colony lights, and for the first time in years, she whispered the human's name softly. Daniel. The colony could not stop talking about what had happened in the marketplace. The alien girl had spoken, her beast had obeyed her command, and the human soldier named Daniel had stood before her without fear. Rumors grew like wildfire. Some claimed she had bewitched him. Others whispered that the beast would soon destroy the colony because of him. Daniel ignored the rumors. He could not stop thinking about the girl. Her name Leora echoed in his mind again and again. He wanted to know more. He wanted to understand. Why she was alone. Why she carried such sadness in her eyes. And why a beast of nightmares followed her like a loyal shadow. One night, after his patrol ended, Daniel made a decision. He would follow her. He had seen her leave the colony gates. Many times, walking into the forest with her beast. No one dared to track her, but Daniel's curiosity was stronger than fear. The forest was dark and full of strange sounds. The wind whistled through twisted trees, and glowing insects lit up the paths like falling stars. Daniel moved carefully, keeping his steps quiet. He followed the faint sound of claws scraping the ground. Soon, he saw her. Leora sat near a small stream. Her beast lay beside her. Its massive body stretched out, its glowing eyes dimmer in the night. It looked less like a monster and more like a guardian resting after a long day. Daniel hid behind the trees, watching. He saw Leora pull food from a small basket. She fed the beast gently, piece by piece. Her hand moved across its head, stroking its scales with tenderness. The beast purred it deep. Vibrating sound that shook the ground. It was not a growl of anger, but of comfort. Daniel's breath caught. This was not a monster. This was an animal that trusted her, loved her, protected her. He realized in that moment that all the stories told in the colony were wrong. The girl was not dangerous. She was only different. As he leaned closer, a branch cracked under his foot. Leora's head snapped up. Her glowing eyes turned sharp. The beast rose instantly, its red eyes blazing. Daniel froze. His heart pounded. The beast's growl filled the night like thunder. Leora lifted her hand quickly. She whispered something in her language. The beast stopped, though its eyes stayed. Fixed on Daniel, its muscles trembled, ready to strike. Leora stood slowly, her silver hair glowing under the moonlight. "You follow me?" she said in broken human words. Her voice was not angry, but wary. She looked at him with caution, as if she could not decide if he was friend or foe. Daniel raised his hand slowly, showing he meant no harm. "I had to," he said softly. "I wanted to understand. I wanted to see the truth." The beast snarled again, stepping forward. But Leora pressed her hand to its chest. It stopped, though its glowing eyes never left Daniel. "Truth," she repeated, her voice cracked. As if the word was heavy to speak, she looked at the beast, then back at Daniel. For a moment, her expression shifted, and he saw loneliness carved into her face. Daniel nodded. "Yes, the truth," he said firmly. "They fear you. They fear this creature, but I don't think you are what they believe." Leora's eyes softened, her lips parted, but she hesitated. It was as if she carried a secret too heavy to share. Finally, she whispered, "He, not beast, he is guardian." She placed her hand on the beast's head. "My guardian?" Daniel's eyes widened. Guardian. The word carried power. It was not just a pet, not just an animal. This creature was bound to her. It lived for her. And maybe even because of her, Leora stepped closer. Her eyes glowed brighter without him. "I die," she said slowly. Each word was heavy, filled with pain. Daniel felt his chest tighten. The truth was even more dangerous than he expected. If the colony killed the beast, they would kill her too. For a moment, silence filled the forest. Only the soft sound of water in the stream could be heard. Daniel realized how fragile her life truly was. She was not a curse. She was a prisoner of her bond. She survived only because of the beast, and the beast lived only for her. He wanted to ask more, but Leora shook her head. She stepped back, placing her hand on the beast again. "You?" "Not tell," she said. Her eyes turned hard, almost pleading. "They kill him, they kill me." Daniel nodded firmly. "I won't tell," he promised. He meant every word. He knew if the elders learned the truth, they would strike without mercy. Leora studied him for a moment, her glowing eyes searching his face. Then, for the first time, she gave a small, fragile smile. It lasted only a heartbeat, but it was real. The beast lowered its head slightly, watching Daniel, but no longer growling. It seemed to understand that its master trusted him. Daniel felt a strange warmth spread through him, as if the bond between the girl and the beast now stretched toward him too. As the night grew colder, Leora turned away. She began walking deeper into the forest. Her beast followed like a shadow. Before she disappeared into the darkness, she looked back once more, her voice soft, almost a whisper. Daniel, his name spoken by her lips, echoed through him like fire. He stood frozen as she vanished into the night. The shadows swallowed her form, but her voice stayed with him. When Daniel returned to the colony, the guards mocked him, out late again. "Looking for death," they said. He did not answer. He only smiled quietly. The truth was now his alone, and it was heavier than any weapon he had ever carried. The people still feared Leora and her beast, but Daniel knew what they did not. She was not their enemy. She was a girl carrying a secret that could change everything. And now he was part of that secret. The colony was never quiet when fear controlled it. Every corner whispered. Every face carried suspicion after Daniel's strange encounters with Leora. People spoke more loudly, more angrily. They no longer only feared her, they feared him too. "They say she spoke to him." A woman hissed at the well. "She gave him her name," said another, "and the beast did not attack him." A guard muttered, "Maybe he is cursed. Maybe he serves her." The rumors spread like poison, twisting truth into fear. The elders of the colony gathered in secret. Old men with wrinkled faces. Women with sharp eyes. They sat around the long table, their voices filled with worry. "The girl is dangerous," one elder declared. "Her beast is a weapon of death." Another leaned forward, the human soldier. "Daniel, he defends her. He is a threat too." They decided something must be done. They could not allow the colony to live under the shadow of a monster. If the beast dies, the fear ends. One elder whispered, the others nodded. None of them knew the truth. Daniel had learned that killing the beast meant killing the girl too. Daniel felt the change in the air wherever he walked. Eyes followed him. Soldiers avoided him. Children whispered when he passed. Even his commander looked at him with doubt. "Daniel," he said one evening, "you should stay away from the alien girl. You are bringing unrest to the colony." But Daniel shook his head. "She is not what they think," he answered. His commander's eyes narrowed. "Careful, soldier. Your words sound like loyalty to an enemy." That night, Daniel could not sleep. He thought of Leora in the forest, her silver hair glowing in the moonlight, her hand resting gently on her guardian. He remembered her whisper, "You." Not tell. He had promised to keep her secret, and he would keep it. But he also knew the elders were moving closer to violence. In the days that followed, the rumors grew darker. People said the beast had been seen drinking blood. They said Leora cursed the crops with her glowing eyes. Some even claimed Daniel was under her control. One day, an old miner said, "He will open the gates and let her beast kill us all." The fear became so strong that even friends avoided him. Daniel found himself eating alone, standing alone, sleeping with one hand always near his weapon, but deep inside, he did not care what they thought. He only cared about the truth. One evening, when the colony bells rang for nightfall, Daniel slipped away from the gates. He entered the forest. Again, moving quickly and quietly, he needed to see Leora. He needed to warn her. He found her near the same stream. Her beast rested at her side, but this time she looked different. Her glowing eyes were sharper, her shoulders tense. She had heard the rumors too. He could see the weight of them pressing on her. "They hate me," she said softly in broken human words. Her voice trembled. "They want kill him, guardian, they want kill me." Daniel's chest tightened. She knew. She knew the danger was growing. He stepped closer, shaking his head. "I won't let them," he said firmly. His voice was steady. But in his heart, he feared he could not stop an entire colony. Still, he had to try. Leora looked at him with wide eyes, searching his face for truth. Slowly, she reached out her hand. Her fingers brushed his arm lightly. "Why?" "You help," she asked. Her words were slow, but filled with emotion. Daniel swallowed hard. He did not have a simple answer. He only knew that when he looked at her, he saw more than an alien. He saw someone who carried pain, loneliness, and hope. "Because you're not my enemy," he whispered. "Because I believe in you." Her lips trembled, and for the first time, a real smile touched her face. It was small, fragile, but it was a light in the darkness. Daniel felt his heart beat faster. He had gained her trust. But then the beast stirred, its red eyes glowing brighter. It growled, not at Daniel, but at the forest behind. A rustle of leaves, a faint metallic sound. "Soldiers." Daniel turned quickly. He saw shadows moving between the trees. The colony had sent men to kill the beast. "You?" "Run," Daniel whispered urgently. Leora's eyes widened in fear. She pressed her hand against her guardian. The beast rose, massive and powerful. Soldiers stepped out with rifles ready. Their commander shouted, "Now! Kill it before it reaches the colony." Gunfire roared. Bullets tore through the night. The beast growled in pain, but did not fall. It stood before Leora. Shielding her with its body, she screamed, her glowing eyes burning with tears. Daniel shouted, "Stop! You don't understand." He ran in front of the soldiers, raising his arms. Bullets tore into the ground around him, but he did not move. His voice thundered above the chaos. "If you kill it, you kill her too." The soldiers froze, confused, their commander's face twisted in anger. "What are you saying?" Daniel's chest heaved as he shouted, "They are bound. She dies if it dies. You'll murder her, not save us." For a moment, silence filled the forest. The soldiers lowered their guns slightly. But the commander snarled, "Lies. She is a curse. Both must die." He raised his weapon, aiming at the beast's head. Daniel's heart raced. He had one choice. One chance. He stepped in front of the barrel, his body blocking the shot. "You'll have to shoot me first," he growled. His voice carried no fear. "Only iron," Leora gasped, her glowing eyes wide. Her guardian growled low. Watching the human who had chosen to stand against his own kind, the soldiers hesitated. Some lowered their rifles completely. Fear and doubt warred inside them, the commander's. Hands shook, his eyes burning with rage, and in that tense silence, a dangerous rumor had turned into deadly reality. The forest was silent for only a heartbeat. Then, everything exploded into chaos. The commander shouted his order again, "Fire!" And the soldiers raised their rifles. Bullets cut through the night. Sparking against stone and tearing into the ground, the beast roared, a sound so powerful that the trees seemed to shake. Its glowing eyes burned bright red. It stood in front of Leora, its body shielding her from the storm of bullets. Each strike of fire only made it angrier. The soldiers had expected it to fall quickly. But instead, it stood like a wall of living armor. Daniel screamed above the noise, "Stop! You're killing her too." But no one listened. He rushed forward, grabbing the barrel of one soldier's rifle. Forcing it down, the soldiers shouted in shock, but Daniel's strength held firm. "If you kill it, she dies." Oh yelled again. His voice was desperate. But the roar of battle drowned his words. Leora cried out, her glowing eyes filled with tears. Her voice broke as she shouted something in her alien tongue. The beast answered her call. Its massive claws tore into the ground, and in one leap it crashed into the line of soldiers. Men were thrown aside like broken dolls. Their rifles flew into the air. The colonists had always seen the beast as a monster. But now, under the moonlight, it was more than that. It was fury and pain. It was a living storm. Daniel pushed soldiers back, not with violence, but with his body. Standing between them and Leora, he shouted again, "Can't you see us protecting her?" But fear had blinded them. The commander reloaded his weapon. His face twisted with hatred. He aimed again at the beast. His finger tightened on the trigger. Daniel saw it and acted. Without thinking, he threw himself into the line of fire. The shot rang out. Grazing his shoulder, he fell to his knees, but rose again. His eyes burning with defiance. Leora gasped. Her guardian roared louder than before. Its red eyes locked onto the commander. In one heartbeat, it charged. The commander fired again and again, but the bullets seemed too small, too weak to stop. The fury of the beast, it crashed into him, knocking him against a tree. His weapon shattered against the roots. The soldiers froze, fear locking their hands. They had never seen such raw power. Some began to back away, their courage melting in the face of the unstoppable guardian. Daniel staggered to his feet, blood dripping from his arm. He shouted at the men, his voice like thunder. "Do you not see? This is not a curse. It is her life. She is not our enemy." His words cut through the fear. Some soldiers lowered their weapons, confusion spreading among them. Leora ran to Daniel. Her hands trembled as she touched his wound. Her eyes glowed brighter, glowing blue tears running down her cheeks. "Why? Why you do this?" She whispered. Her voice shook with both fear and hope. Daniel looked at her, his voice weak but steady. "Because you deserve to live," he whispered. "Because you are more than their fear." The beast lowered its massive head, growling softly. Its red eyes shifted between Daniel and Leora. It seemed to sense the bond forming between them. Its growl was no longer filled with rage, but with warning telling the soldiers to stay away. But the danger was not gone. The commander rose slowly, his face bloody. His eyes burned with madness. "You will destroy us all," he spat, "the girl, the beast, and you with her. You are all enemies of the colony." He pulled a hidden blade from his belt and charged. Daniel turned, but his body was weak from blood loss. The blade was coming fast. Leora cried out, throwing herself forward. But before the blade could strike, the beast moved. With one powerful swipe of its claw, it knocked the commander aside. His body crashed against the rocks, silent and still. The forest went quiet. Only the sound of the stream and heavy breathing filled the air. The soldiers stood frozen, eyes wide, weapons trembling in their hands. They looked at the lifeless body of their commander, then at Daniel standing beside the alien girl and her beast. Fear battled with reason in their hearts. Some wanted to flee, others wanted to fight, but none could move. The scene before them was too heavy, too unreal. Daniel raised his voice once more. "This is the truth," he said. His arm hung weakly at his side, but his words were strong. "They are not our enemy. This girl is not a curse. She is alive because of him, and he fights only to protect her. Can't you see? Fear has blinded you." The soldiers exchanged uncertain glances. Their weapons lowered, one by one. None of them wanted to face the Guardian again. None of them wanted to admit Daniel might be right. But the truth was heavy in their silence. Leora stepped closer to Daniel. Her hand gently took his. For the first time, she spoke without hesitation. "You?" "My friend," she whispered. Her words were broken, but her meaning was clear. The beast bowed its head low, its glowing red eyes dimming softly. For the first time, it did not look like a monster. It looked like a guardian who had found someone new to trust. Daniel squeezed her hand weakly. He looked at the soldiers who still watched in fear. "If you want to kill her," he said, his voice heavy, "you will have to go through me." Silence followed. The night held its breath. The soldiers, the beast, the girl, and the human all bound by one choice. The attack had ended, but the war of fear and truth had only just begun. The forest stayed silent after the attack. The soldiers lowered their weapons. Their commander lay broken against the rocks. And Daniel stood bleeding but unshaken beside Leora and her guardian. The night air felt heavy. Carrying the weight of what had just happened, the soldiers whispered among themselves. Some wanted to run back to the colony. Others wanted to finish what they had started, but none dared to step forward. The beast's glowing eyes kept them frozen in fear. Daniel's arm bled, but he did not let go of Leora's hand. He stood tall, even as his strength faded. His voice carried through the silence. "Go back to the colony," he told the soldiers. "Tell them the commander is dead. Tell them the girl and her guardian live, but tell them this if they attack again, they will have to face me too." The soldiers looked at one another. Their fear of the beast was stronger than their loyalty to the dead commander. Slowly, one by one, they turned and left the forest. Their footsteps faded, leaving only the stream and the night behind. Leora knelt beside Daniel. Her glowing blue eyes studied his wound. She tore a piece of her cloak and pressed it against his shoulder. "You hurt," she whispered. Her voice trembled, her hands shook, but her touch was gentle. Daniel looked at her, his voice soft. "It's only a wound," he said. "I've survived worse," but his eyes searched hers, filled with questions. "Why do they fear you so much?" he asked. "Why does everyone believe you are a curse?" Leora's lips trembled. She lowered her gaze, Her hand rested on the beast's head. Her guardian growled softly, not in anger, but in sorrow. She whispered, "Because they don't know truth." Daniel leaned closer, his voice firm. Then, "Tell me, Leora, tell me the truth." For a moment, she was silent. The moonlight touched her silver hair, and her eyes glowed brighter. She took a deep breath, then spoke slowly. Her broken words, heavy with meaning. "He, guardian. Not only pet," she said. Her hand stroked the beast's scales. "He is my life." Daniel frowned. "Your life?" Leora nodded. "When I was born." "My people give guardian." Her voice cracked. "He bind to me, soul to soul, if he die. I die too, if I die. He died too." Daniel's chest tightened. The truth struck him harder than any wound. The girl and her beast were not two beings. They were one life, bound together. That was why the guardian never left her side. That was why it fought with such fury. It was fighting for its own existence and hers. Leora's voice softened. "My people all have guardian," she said, her eyes filled with sorrow. "But my people gone, all dead. Only me. And him, her." Hand tightened against the beast. Her voice broke. "We alone." Daniel's breath caught. The weight of her loneliness crushed him. She had lost everything: her family, her people, her world. All she had left was the guardian. The only bond that kept her alive. The colony had feared her. But in truth, she was only surviving. "I understand now," Daniel whispered, his voice low but full of emotion. "You are not a curse. You are a survivor." Leora looked at him, her glowing eyes glistening with tears. "But they not understand," she said. "They only see monster. They only fear." Daniel nodded, his jaw tightened. "Then I will help them understand." His words carried the strength of a promise. "I will show them the truth. I will protect you." Her lips parted, her breath caught for the first time. Her face softened completely. Her eyes searched his, and a small smile touched her lips. "Fragile, but real. You. Different," she whispered. The guardian lowered its head, pressing its massive skull gently against Daniel's chest. Its red eyes glowed softer, as if accepting him. Daniel froze for a moment, then raised his uninjured hand. He touched the beast's scales, warm and rough under his palm. The soldiers who had run away would spread more rumors by morning. Daniel knew it, but now he also knew the truth. Leora and her guardian were not enemies. They were one soul split into two bodies. Their bond was unbreakable, and their survival depended on each other. Daniel sat down beside her near the stream. The night stretched on, but he felt no fear. Leora leaned against her guardian, her silver hair glowing under the moonlight. She looked at Daniel quietly, then whispered, "Why you trust me?" Daniel's voice was steady. "Because fear lies, but your eyes don't." Her eyes widened, her lips trembled. For a moment, she looked like she might cry. Instead, she whispered his name softly. "Daniel." The way she said it carried warmth, something she had not felt in years. Daniel's heart pounded. He knew the colony would not accept the truth easily. He knew more danger would come, but sitting there with her, hearing her voice, seeing her trust him, he knew he could not walk away. The guardian rested its head beside them. Its deep breathing rumbled like distant thunder. It was no longer a monster in Daniel's eyes. It was part of her, part of the truth he had sworn to protect. And in that quiet forest, under the watchful moon, Daniel understood that his life had changed forever. The colony saw an enemy, but he saw something else. He saw hope. He saw love growing in silence. He saw a bond stronger than fear. The truth had been revealed, but now he faced a greater challenge, convincing a world blinded by fear to see it too. Morning light fell across the colony. The soldiers who had returned from the forest carried wild stories. Some said the commander had been killed by the beast. Others claimed Daniel had betrayed them. Fear spread faster than truth. And the people gathered in the square demanding answers. The elders stood before the restless crowd, their voices sharp. The alien girl and her beast are a threat. One elder declared, "Our commander is dead because of them. If we do not act, the colony will fall." The crowd roared in fear and anger. But then, from beyond the gates, a sound rose, a low growl. Steady and powerful, the crowd froze. Their eyes turned to the walls. Daniel was walking back, his arm bound in cloth, his face pale from blood loss. And beside him was Leora, her guardian. Walked at her side, massive and unshaken, gasps filled the air. Mothers pulled children back. Guards raised their rifles. The elders shouted, "Keep them out." But Daniel did not stop. He stepped through the open gate, his voice strong. "Put down your weapons. She is not your enemy." The crowd's fear turned into shouting. "She killed the commander. The beast will kill us all. End this now." The rifles pointed higher, ready to fire. Leora stepped closer to Daniel, her glowing eyes wide with fear. Her hand trembled as she gripped his sleeve. Daniel placed his uninjured hand over hers, steadying her. His voice rose, echoing across the square. "You have lived in fear, but fear has blinded you. Last night, I learned the truth. This beast is not a monster. It is her guardian. Without him, she dies. Without her, he dies too." The crowd murmured disbelief, battling with doubt. One guard shouted, "Lies. No human would defend a monster." But Daniel stood tall, his voice thundered. "Look at me. I bled for her. I stood before your guns. I saw her sorrow. I saw her truth. She is not our curse. She is a survivor, the last of her kind. She deserves life, not death." The guardian stepped forward. Its glowing eyes locked on the soldiers, but instead of growling, it lowered its head slowly. Its massive body bowed. For the first time, it showed submission. The crowd gasped in shock. Never had the beast looked less like a monster and more like something noble. Leora's lips parted, her voice cracked as she spoke broken words. "Please. Not fear me, not fear him." She held Daniel's hand tightly. "We only want live." The elders trembled, their power slipping as the truth stood before them. One of them shouted, "Do not be fooled. They will destroy us." The crowd hesitated. They had seen something different: trust between human and alien. Trust between man and beast. A young boy stepped forward from the crowd, his eyes wide but brave. He looked at Leora and whispered, "She looks lonely." His mother tried to pull him back, but the words had already spread through the silence. Others began to see it too, the sadness in Leora's glowing eyes. The way Daniel stood protectively by her side, the way the beast bowed instead of striking. Daniel raised his voice again. "Fear has ruled you, but today you can choose differently. You can keep living in shadows, or you can step into truth. Leora is not your enemy. She is a girl who lost everything, and if you give her a chance, she will stand with us, not against us." For a long moment, silence held the colony. The elders shouted again, demanding the soldiers fire. But the rifles lowered. One by one, the men who had seen the truth in the forest chose not to pull the trigger. Their hands shook, but they turned their guns away. The elders' voices faded, powerless against the sight before them. The crowd watched in awe as the guardian, the monster of nightmares, bowed once more before Daniel. The beast accepted him, trusted him. Leora looked at Daniel. Her lips trembled for the first time. She smiled fully, not a fragile smile, but one filled with warmth. Her eyes glowed brighter, not with sadness, but with hope. She whispered softly, "Daniel, my bond." He squeezed her hand, his voice firm, "And you are mine." The crowd whispered in shock. The beast accepts him. The girl trusts him. What does this mean? Slowly, the whispers changed. Some no longer spoke with fear, but with wonder. Daniel lifted his voice one final time. This colony was built on courage, not fear. Do not let fear make you blind. See the truth with your own eyes. This girl is not death. She is life stronger than fear. The words settled over the people. Not all were convinced. Fear does not vanish in a single day. But a seed had been planted, a seed that would grow. The guardian lowered itself to the ground, its massive body resting. Leora stood beside Daniel, her hand still in his. The two of them looked at the colony not as enemies, but as something more. That night, the colony whispered new words. Not all were kind, but some carried hope. The alien girl has chosen the human. The beast bows to him. Maybe she is not our curse after all. And in the quiet of the night, away from the crowd, Daniel and Leora sat by the fire. The guardian lay beside them, its breathing deep and calm. Leora looked at Daniel, her voice soft. You saved me, Daniel. Shook his head gently. No, Leora, we saved each other under the stars. A bond beyond fear had been forged. A bond between human and alien, soldier and survivor. A bond that even death could not break.